Yeah,
All right, Matthias, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Mayor. How are you?
Good, good. So, oh God, like there's so much to cover, dude. Matthias, like he was like he had so much things that happened just in the past week or so that he was like, man, I may as well just start telling you all this now. I'm like, no, no, let me start the recording and then you can share. But Matthias, so just for those who don't know, who you are and so forth, just share a little bit about like where are you from, how did you get in touch with me, right, the group, things like that. And yeah, like where were you in your life like when we first met? So just a little background about yourself.
Yeah, I come from Czech Republic, originally born in city named Ostrava. Then we moved to capital city of Czech Republic, which is Prague.
Okay.
We were just a middle class family, really like average. My parents work at a military. They have stable jobs. They are not officers. They are just regular staff, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we were living like mediocre life, like living in a flat, like three plus one flat, and really like I went through basic education, right, high school and stuff, and now it's been moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
When I met you,
Yeah.
then the things started to take off, kind of.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. So, and just to double check, Czech Republic is like is it second world country, is that right?
Yeah, it's part of European Union, so it's
Okay.
like, yeah, like second, close to first, really.
Yeah,
Like we are getting there, and we will get there
you're getting
soon.
there. I mean, you have
Yeah.
TechnoTutor now, so you're gonna take it there fast then. uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's crazy because remember we met. How long ago did we meet? Now, how long has it been?
It was in summer, I
In
think. Yeah.
summer. It was close
Like,
to August,
oh
something
yeah,
like
yeah, it
that,
was really
of
close to August.
2021, right? And so I remember then, as I just talking with you, first of all, you had much more like accent, like a thicker accent, right? Like your English wasn't obviously how it is now. And just the way you would talk with me and like think about words and things like that, you weren't like as stable as you are now, right? So, but back then, like what was it specifically that made you, I guess, like interested or want to buy TT, right? Because you weren't making that much money when we first met. You would tell people like basically what you were doing for your job and like how much did you have to, like how many months did you have to save up to like get your TT and all that. But what made you want to do it, that you went through that, right?
Yeah. So before I met Mayor, before August, I at the beginning of the year to 2021, I discovered someone named Kevin Trudeau, and his recording "Your Wish Is Your Command," which was recorded in Swiss Alps.
Mm-hmm.
And this recording really like changed my perspective on personal development and really opened a lot of doors, especially to our Discord group, which we're gonna get to as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I was I was uh, I was working as a delivery guy, delivering groceries to people, making average income in Czech Republic, like 2,000 euros a month, or like average, nothing special. Living paycheck to paycheck, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
of course, saving up money, but I knew that there is much more to it, and I should have a real purpose and do something that actually makes sense and has impact.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's when I started to get interested in TT when shout out to Mitchell, because Mitchell was actually the first one who introduced me to it and really explained what it is. And then he introduced me to you, and then it just all started and it was amazing.
Yeah, shout out to Mitchell and Seth. So and Seth was someone who first created the Discord group for Jin. So for those who listen to that, your wish is your command. And we first met through that group, right? And so yeah, that's cool. And so what made you want to get TechnoTutor? Like basically pulling the trigger and like finally buying it? Because I remember you had like so much fears before it and you were like, oh, I feel all this stuff, right? So you could talk a little bit about that, and then what made you finally go through?
Yeah, sure. So at first I was really skeptical. I didn't know if it was real, if it works, and bullshit like that.
Yeah.
To be honest, like
Yeah.
I see it as such a like, I don't know how to even describe it. Like I know the word for it. It's like irresponsibility, or like you just fear of something outside of me, and like cavalry coming and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so what really made me to actually consider it was the result Mitch, you, Cameron, Drake, Asif were getting, basically. And like I knew that if they can do it, I can do it. And then I started to talk to you, and at first I was really like fearful. I was like, how can I afford it? Costs like, like how can I afford TT, right? Like how can I do it actually? And I was saving up like month after month. I was saving up for down payment. I was really like saving up, and then I pulled the trigger. And since that, it was great.
Yeah, and just to clarify, like it's not even that TechnoTutor really costs that much. It's just where you were in your country, you weren't even making money in euro or anything. So for you, you had to work like 2-3 times more than like someone here just to be able to afford something like that, right? Because I bought TT like when I was 90 years old and stuff. So it's like anyone can get it, but for you, it's like you had to just work more just to be able to afford that, right? And just want to clarify, because like to you now, like does it actually cost so much based on the results that you've had so far? Okay, now I guess we can get into this.
I would pay much more than that, to be honest, like because man, like the stuff that was happening in my life and is happening right now is just unbelievable. And I couldn't even imagine that I could like these circumstances would really like happen and play out and really like start besides becoming more stable emotionally and stuff. So I don't regret it. I don't regret the investment. So yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I remember right before when you wanted to like basically follow through, I remember you telling me on the phone, man, Mahyar, I feel all this fear right now, like because all the uncertainty, I don't know what's gonna change, I don't know what's gonna happen. And I was like, dude, like I felt the same things, like we're both human, right? And that's the cool thing about TechnoTutor, the group that we have. It's like literally everyone here is like your typical average person, right? Besides a few that we have who are like who came in who already were successful, but the majority, like I would say 98%, 99% of like the people in TechnoTutor, like we came in with really not that much, you know what I mean? Like just the average person who's like getting persuaded by the media. We're like, oh fuck, should we take the vaccine? Should we not do it? Or this or that, right? Like just like average people. But basically, I guess at some level you resonate and you were like, I feel this fear, but I have to follow through anyway, right? Because if you remember, I was like, this is just a small amount. Like if you can't pull the trigger on this, then how are you gonna get to a point where you're doing deals that's like over 100,000, over 1 million, right? If you have fear of just getting something like TechnoTutor, you see what I mean? And then, I mean, you did it, man. You pulled the trigger. We shipped it to you, right? And you started being, so how long have you been using it again? Because it's hard
2 months.
to, God damn, 2 months, dude, that's insane. Okay, fuck. So, because I know your results, right? Like 2 months, that's crazy. Like nothing I've seen in my life that can get this much results. So now basically feel free to say, to talk about like, since the day you got TechnoTutor, like what went through your head, and then when you started using it, what was the change? I mean, the you can take the floor now. So
Yeah. So to start off, I would really say that at the beginning, I took it extremely seriously, and that was like a really like sign of my teachability index. If you don't know what teachability index is, uh, go listen to Your Wish Is Your Command by Kevin Trudeau. He talks about it. So I became really teachable at that point because I was willing to invest that much money. So I was willing to give up a lot. So I had no choice, and I really applied myself and really did exactly to the letter what Mayer told me. Like exactly. I didn't deviate. I didn't try to do my own thing. I didn't try to make up some better method and like observe others and stuff like that. I just did what he said, and after few weeks, I was starting to really like feeling different and really like seeing things, especially in my environment, like patterns, what's going on around me, and how I react to stuff, how I react to my at my old work, old employment, and my communication got better. I basically reduced highly my fear of talking to people. That's pretty big one. But one point, like the first like big shift that happened was when I came to Mayor and said to him, okay, like I have no idea how to meet like-minded people in Czech Republic. I have no idea how to find those people and how to actually like introduce myself to them. And then,
what do you mean by like-minded people, just so people know?
Like-minded people who want more out of life, who actually think for themselves and not really accept blindly media narrative. Especially in Czech Republic, there's a great deal of people accepting stuff and not even considering the real facts. But I went to Mayor and asking for advice, right? And he told me to put certain phrases in TT, and I did exactly that. And believe it or not, surprise, right? after 2 weeks, I met this random guy on Facebook, right? We chatted. I reacted to his story, right? I reacted to his story. He is trader. He trades. He now has a residual income. He's basically financially independent now. And I talked to him. We talked. We resonated perfectly. And then I found out that he has TT as well.
Oh damn!
Like it's super hard to believe. Like every time I tell people, like they can't believe because it's just so calculated, right? Just, you can't even comprehend.
And where did you meet that person? Like, was it in one of our groups, or like totally random, like in a group that we're not even part
Yeah, he was part on he was part of self-perfected group.
of. Okay.
He was in that group,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know why, but I was just scrolling through the list and like trying to find check if there's like Czech people there. Yeah, right. Like it makes sense, right? I wanted to check it, and then I found him, and then I found out that he has TT. We talked, and then he introduced me to this group of people, which is similar to self-perfected group, but here locally in Czech Republic, they do
Mm-hmm.
meetups as well. But it's we then decided to go to the New Year's Eve, right? Like partying and stuff like that, like fireworks, drinking, and all
Yeah.
that good stuff. And
Yeah.
we decided to go to that meetup, right, or party.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I went there. I didn't know what to expect. Like I was going to like unknown, completely unknown space, unknown community,
Mm-hmm.
unknown everything.
Did you have any
And
fears?
man, believe me, I was like in my mind, like thoughts were rushing up and like saying, oh, just stay home, watch TV, and like just chill out, Matthias. You can you can do it after New Year's, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not safe outside, right? And this bullshit.
Yeah.
And then I said, no, I'm just gonna do it anyway because I live once, so I only live once, right? So why in the hell play it safe? So I
Mm-hmm.
went, and I met so many like-minded people.
Yeah.
Just as like I put it into TT, if by magic, right? If by
Yeah.
magic, like, but it's not magic. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
magic, yeah, sure. But
Yeah. It's real magic.
I'm yeah, it's real magic. It's like, yeah, physical magic,
Yeah.
real life magic. Yeah, so this was great. Like this, I enjoyed it so much, and I recommend it to everyone to experience this.
What, to go to the party or to get TechnoTutor or what?
Both,
Both.
but I mean the party was pretty good. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's cool because I mean, was it even 2 weeks? I feel like it was faster because you reached out to me. I told you put this in your TT. You put it, and then literally to me, it was like a few days after you were like, "Hey,
yeah,
you won't believe what happened."
yeah. It was
Right?
like it wasn't really like 2 weeks, but I don't remember exactly how many days it was. So I give it like more time, so it doesn't
Yeah,
like, so it's not
yeah,
too like hard to believe.
yeah.
So I put it like 2 weeks. Right?
Yeah,
So
because like for TT, because you grow so much in a short amount of time that you're like, oh, I must have gone through this in like 2 weeks or a month, where in reality it happened like in maybe 2 days. Because that's what I remember. It was like 2 days later, you were like, hey, you won't believe what happened. I met this guy. I was like, oh, damn. Right. So you could, I mean, go through our chat messenger, like find the date, not right now, but after. So you see, because I'm pretty sure it was like 2, 3 days after, right? If I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
maybe.
So now, do you want to talk about what basically you do now? So before you were delivering groceries, and I remember you were acting like it's the best thing ever. I'm like, come on, how can you be happy just delivering grocery store or groceries, right? And but obviously,
Man,
like I understood because you maybe didn't know any other thing. So, uh, so go
it's so
from
funny,
like
man.
what?
Well, it's so funny when I just look back to those messages, and like no, I haven't actually looked them looked them up yet, but I might
Mm-hmm.
do
On
later,
Discord.
but to just see like how much I changed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was just funny because if you remember, I was telling you like, oh, I'm doing this job because it feels so good, right? To
Yeah.
develop, to deliver people these
Yeah.
groceries. I'm doing the good thing, right?
Yeah, you were
And
like,
I'm
I'm
like,
helping
yeah,
people. I'm like,
I'm helping.
I'm like, do you want to help people by educating them or just delivering their groceries? But yeah, so which is nothing wrong with that, because it's like, again, that's a perfect example of like you were just the typical person. Like there was nothing special about you, just like there's nothing special about me. We just use the tools, and because it's a system, it gives the results over and over and over, right? So do you want to share a little bit like where you are now? So you were delivering groceries 2 months ago. Where are you now? What do you do now?
As of right now, I am working as a real estate agent. Basically, what I do, I provide best service for someone who wants to sell property and who wants to buy one, and we do all these paperworks and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and so everything is like perfectly neat and fast for the client. So it's completely different um, environment now I work in than I did before. Like
Yeah.
before at my old job when I was delivering, I was working mostly outside. It was cold
Yeah.
and it was just physically exhausting. But
Mm-hmm.
now when I have a sales job, right, and I basically sell people my services, then it's different kind of mentality that you have
Mm-hmm.
there. You have
Yeah.
to you have to really think differently in these kind of occupations than you do in other ones. Especially the the main thing for me was that I lost kind of like security when 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 letting go of that old job. The
Mm-hmm.
security is gone now, and now it's my responsibility. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, the responsibility is on me 100% if I make money or not.
Yeah.
So, and I know that if you want to grow, you have to take responsibility, more and more responsibility, and more responsibility you take, the more money you make, logically, if you
Yeah.
if you really look at it.
Yeah. And
So
I mean, that's pretty badass. Dude, you went from delivering groceries to now delivering homes. Like now you're basically
yeah,
selling real estate. And like that's a whole other set of vocabulary that you had to learn to be able to do sales and things like that. I'm pretty sure, right? So
100%.
yeah, and because many of us, like the average person, is programmed to think that sales is the worst thing, but in reality, in the homes, our parents are selling us all the time. You're selling your friend of like, let's go watch this movie, let's eat this food. Like you're selling all the time, but the way people think about sales is like someone who's like this pushy guy who's like annoying, because that's what you see in the movies and advertisements of like you go to the store and this guy is like just pushing you, right? But in reality, when you go to like high-end stores, like high-end brands, like I don't know, Rolex, Tom Ford, like very expensive stores, the people over there, they're like, they act as if like, oh, you're not serious about buying this, right? Like skeptical in a sense. And it's like, you're like, no, help me. I want to get this. I want to get this. And then they help you out. They're like, try this on, try that on. How does that feel? And it's like, they are not even trying to sell you. It's like, you just sell yourself, if that makes sense, right? And that's real selling. And if you haven't been to nice stores, like for sure, go. Like yesterday, I went to Nordstrom with my friend Nick, and we were trying out like $2,000+ like suits and stuff, right? Like really nice suits. And the guy who came up to us, he's like, "So, what are you looking for?" And we were like, "Well, we're just browsing around, right?" And he was like, "Okay, here I can show you some stuff, right?" And he had like a tape measure, and right there, he just measured everything, and he was like, "Okay, this suit is gonna fit you, try this one. And I'm like putting it on, I'm like, holy shit, like this feels nice, right? But I already have 14 suits, so I was like, I'm not trying to buy another one right now. But but that experience, like if you haven't had it, go do it. But back to Matthias, it's like, did you ever even think that you be into sales or even doing sales or selling, or that it was something that was for you? Like I don't even know myself, so I'm just asking you out of curiosity.
Yeah, so before I was delivering groceries, I was actually trying out like sales job. I was just trying. Like I was trying stuff around, and I was selling like stocks and in investment funds and stuff
Mhm.
like that. I was just cold calling people and stuff before, and uh, I wasn't successful at all at it because I didn't have the mental capacity to really handle that responsibility,
Mhm.
if that makes sense,
Yeah.
and really like didn't have the processing ability to learn to sell and learn and understand what am I selling even, and how people works, how they operate and how they buy. Because as you said, selling is basically telling people and telling people what they already know, and them explaining to themselves basically why they should buy,
Yeah,
and selling themselves.
exactly.
Because I can think of like so many examples when I was selling myself. When I was in a store, I was looking out for, it was, yeah, it was the suit. I actually bought a suit
Okay.
for the wedding, and I was that guy was just he wasn't even selling me. He was just showing me stuff, and like, oh, try this, and I was just explaining to him like why it's so good and stuff like that, and why I
Yeah,
should buy it and stuff.
yeah,
And then of course I bought it, right? So
yeah,
so it's so it's just don't be stupid, and just be teachable.
yeah. Great advice. Don't be stupid, be teachable, right? No, nice. Thanks for sharing. And yeah, like just so people know, like processability means like you just don't learn new stuff, but you're learning stuff and you start living that information. You just don't memorize something, but you start living the information. Meaning, let's say if I just tell you what the word business is and what it means is not enough. Like you need to see, what does that look like? What does building a business look like? What does building a business effectively and building a business not effectively look like? Because there's so many people who are building business and they're a slave of their own business. Like they're working 12, 14 hours a day and like not even making money, or like losing money, and then they just go bankrupt or like they quit, right? Whereas for us, like we're helping people build business so that not only they enjoy it, but they get to a point where even if you don't work, you're making money. But obviously the work that we do is like helping people to the highest level, so obviously like that's never going to stop, and the consequence is just getting more money, but we're using that money to invest back into people. You see what I mean? Like I'm doing
It's
clubhouses. Yeah,
yeah,
so go ahead.
it's completely it's completely different mentality here with TechnoTutor and like all the distributors and how they operate, and just completely different business that you are maybe used to,
Mhm.
you watching, and it's it really start to make sense when you start using the tools,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
that's when you start to like see where this is going, and like the whole concept of TT and DIP. If you don't know DIP Lite, it's part of Destiny. It's great.
yeah. I can
It's
put
a
a
great
link to in the
course. Yeah,
description. Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's
That'll
called
be
Destiny
cool.
I Process. Highly suggested. Yeah, I'll put the link to DIP. I can leave a link to Your Wish Is Your Command because it's on YouTube and everywhere. And yeah, and so to wrap it up, now, Matthias, is what would you say to, let's say, someone who's like on the fence, like how you were, right? Or like has that skeptic of, there's no way you guys are going this fast. Because I used to have that same skepticism, right? That's why it took me 2 months to buy, even though I had the money, because I was like, there's no way like these people are going from not having anything to making thousands of dollars, helping so many people, getting into relationships. So what would you say to that person who's like skeptic, I don't know, on the fence, right? Or is like scared of the unknown, of like they don't know what's in that dark room, right? So what would you say to
I get
that
it.
person?
Yeah, I would say, look at your own life. Do you have what you want out of life? Are you happy? Do you have purpose? And if you have, is your purpose actually going to have a real impact? Because I was asking these questions, like exactly the same questions I asked you, I asked myself 3 months ago when I bought TT. I asked myself, what can I do to have a real, what can I do to improve myself, improve myself, and have a purpose, and actually make more money than I do now. Because now when I use the tools, I never worry about money. Like I haven't worried about money since I got TT, and I started to actually do the tools and use them. So just stop be skeptical, and look reality in straight to the eyes, and see what's going on in your life, and ask yourself, how can I solve it? How can I make it different? And I know TT will help you. It helped me, and I'm going places now. But without TT, I know I couldn't grow that fast. I know, it's a fact.
Awesome. Well, there's nothing much I could say now, Matthias. I mean, you covered basically everything. So yeah, for those who are interested to learn more about the tools, learn more about us, I'll put, what do you want, Matthias, your Facebook, or where do you want people to reach out to you?
Yeah, you can reach out on Facebook and Instagram. Name is Matthias Adam on Facebook.
Okay.
On Instagram, I think it's Matthias Adam. I'm gonna actually,
yeah, I'll put it in the link.
Post it. Yeah,
for sure.
post
Yeah,
cool.
I'll put Matthias' stuff in the link in the description, and then you can find my stuff in there too. But yeah, thank you so much, Matthias, for being here today. Appreciate it, and
thank you too.
have a good one. Okay.
Have a good one.
All right,
Bye.
bye.